I was over here trying to get set up because I got a crazy idea today that I want to run by y'all and see. What if I did a live webinar training today? And when I say that, this is what I mean. That I take one of my old presentations and I go through it as if I'm presenting it to train y'all on why I'm doing what I'm doing when I'm doing it. My idea behind this is for you guys. So we're gonna go in and out of role play, and it's gonna be like an immersion. I want y'all to participate as the crowd based on the cues that I'm giving you, but then we're gonna come in and out of that as I'm asking y'all and coaching y'all and all the rest of it. Okay. Now, before I even set this up, okay, I start with putting the mistake angle on the screen. So as people are coming in, this is the first thing that I want them to see. Okay. Why is that? Because seemingly this should have been why they were signing up. So I'm trying to draw an immediate connection from what they saw in the funnel, the advertisement, whatever, so that then this hopefully resonates with them as to the thing. It reminds them of the thing that they were doing previously. Okay. So this is how we'll start it off. What's up, everybody? I want to welcome you into the room. Obviously, we're going to cover the top 3 mistakes that people are making investing in real estate in 2024. We're going to cover so much more than that, okay? But before we even get started, I just want to make sure that we got the right people in the room. How many of you are here because you want to learn how to build a 6 or 7 figure business this year using other people's money and avoid the biggest mistakes doing so? Just put me in the chat if that's you. Now, the follow-up to that is this. I already know this stuff. Okay, my job today is to make sure that you know it. But knowing it ain't good enough. We need to know it to a point of application. So how many of you are going to take immediate action following this session so that you don't let too much time get by and you actually start applying this information so you don't lose it? Just put "that's me" in the chat if that's you. Okay, cool. So as I mentioned, we are going to talk about the top 3 mistakes that most are making investing in real estate in 2024. But I got so much more in store for you guys today. Okay. Before we get into it, let me just play a quick video so you know who I am. So one would think that I put that on there to glorify me. That's not really why I did it, though. Okay. Yes, there's social proof in there. But what it also is, there's a message that was within that video. Did anybody catch what the message was? It wasn't even necessarily the hero story yet. While, yes, I'm showing the aesthetic of who I am, what I do, all the things. But the message was, what is the thing that's been holding you back? So I'm pre-framing them from the beginning of getting fear out of the way. So it's aspirational and inspirational, but then underneath it, the message is, what's the thing that's been holding you back? Stop letting fear, apprehension, doubt, worry stop stopping you. So I'm helping to break down these limiting beliefs before I even get into the content. Okay. So then boom, we transition to this video here, right? And so I tell them, hey, listen, just so you know, you shouldn't hear any audio. This is just B-roll. This is me actually at one of my properties, okay? So it's a lot of different things happening in the market and a lot of people worried about interest rates, all the rest of it. But let me just show you this is one of 120 properties that I bought, okay? Now, by the end of this, okay, you're going to learn how to avoid the biggest mistakes when you're trying to build out your 6 or 7 figure business. You're also going to learn how investing remotely will allow you to scale your business to 10x and beyond. Okay. I'm just a big proponent of rewarding action takers, and you guys being action takers, right? You could be watching Netflix and distracting yourself with a bunch of different stuff, but you chose to be here at 7 p.m. this evening to try to better your life. And so I want to reward you with a proprietary piece of information from one of our masterminds. Actually, it's our renovations price list that you can take and use in any market all around the country to help you to figure out what your rehab cost should be. Now, why is this important? I could have picked a lot of different things, but I think the number one area where people lose money is dealing with contractors, right? And so I want to safeguard you guys. Some of you are going to be able to come with us later and do more things. Others of you are only in my proximity right now. And so I want everybody to leave with something of value. So just from you guys being here, staying to the end, I'm going to gift you this. It's $1,000. By the way, gift you, not give you. Gift you, not give you. Okay. Whenever you're gifting them something, not giving them anything. Okay. Now, why is that? Because if you're giving them something, then subconsciously and psychologically, they could start thinking about when the offer come out that you should be giving them something else, right? Giving kind of can cause entitlement, that language. I mean, how many of you have been to other webinars, seminars, master classes, all of that thing up to this point? Like, how many of you have attended one Okay. I mean, we all have, right? The question is, how many of you have had your time wasted though? With people acting like they're going to teach you something when they're really just trying to sell you something? Has anybody other than myself had that experience? By the way, I didn't ask if you had the experience. Anyone other than myself had that experience. I want to let you know that I got empathy for you because I felt what you felt. And because I felt what you felt, what I can promise you is that I'm not going to do that to you. What I am going to do though, is I'm going to teach you far more than you thought coming here today. And at the end of this, I'm going to have a special opportunity for some special individuals that identify with that opportunity. Here's what I can promise you. The people that see the opportunity at the end, they're going to know immediately that it's for them and they're going to take it. Others of you may see that it's not for you and you're not going to take it. But here's what I can promise both of you, that everybody will end up in a better position as a result of being here with me tonight. Is everybody okay with that? Just let me know if you good with that in the chat so that we can get into it. So, by the way, do y'all see how conversational this is? How I'm getting them involved in every step of the process? How I'm reaffirming to them that it's about them and not about me? Because it ain't about the presentation, it's about having a conversation. Now, who does this work for? I think this is very important to talk about, okay? 9-to-5ers, entrepreneurs, by the way, it works for everybody, right? But we just classifying it. 9-to-5ers, entrepreneurs, business owners, experienced real estate investors, professionals and practitioners looking to diversify. As a matter of fact, let me know where you at on this list. Where you at on this list? Let me know if you're a 9-to-5er, you're a business owner, entrepreneur. Like, let me know where you're at on this list. Why do you think that I stopped to ask that question? So, by the way, I know all of them are unless they unemployed, everybody my target audience on this thing. I am qualifying them, but for a very specific reason. There are times where I've been on these and a lot of people were retirees. There are times when I've been on these and a lot of people were 9-to-5ers. So I know that as I'm going through my presentation, I need to modify certain stories in the way I tell them to appease the masses of who's in the room. Don't mean I don't hit everybody else, but it means that I focus more on the predominant segment of who says they're in the room, because that's going to be my highest chance of closing them. So listen to me, there should be nothing in your presentation that's filler. Everything that I'm doing from every single slide is 100% tactical and strategy. Okay. Now, just as much as it is important to talk about who this has worked for, I think it's equally important to talk about who this does not work for. Okay. Now, if you can't handle being the go-to real estate expert, this is probably not for you. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to leave here with a bunch of specialized information to do some specialized things in life. And as a result of that, you're going to be different than the people having normal conversation over a cup of coffee that have no idea what they're talking about. So as a result of that, you're going to have friends, family, and other people that now identify you as the expert, and they're going to be bombarding you, trying to give you money potentially to go out and do deals. If you can't handle that, this is probably not the place for you. Do y'all see what I just did right there? Who else does this not work for, right? If you're not coachable. Listen, one thing I figured out in life is that if you are already fully yourself, then there's no room for you to grow. And if you somebody that already think you know it all, then God bless you. Unfortunately, you can't teach tonight because that's my job. But we're glad that you're here. But what I'm trying to tell you is that if you're unwilling to be coached, then you're unwilling to grow, which means that you're unwilling to have true success in life. And I'm going to be honest, for those of y'all that's even thinking about coming on with us later, being coachable is a prerequisite, right? And I practice what I preach. I just don't say these things. This is one of my coaches. Many of you probably recognize the face. Yes or yes, right? And so I just believe in it. Fundamentally, coaching has been the thing that's changed my life over the last 10 years since I found it. Okay. And lastly, I just want to say this. If you're not an action taker, this isn't going to work. And I know y'all hear that flippantly a lot of the time, but let me just tell you specifically why this is the case. So let's just say if you're looking at a good deal, right? A good real estate opportunity. Do you think that you're the only one looking at that deal, or you think multiple people are looking at that deal? You tell me in the chat, which one do you think? Are you looking at that deal or multiple people looking at that deal? But what happens when you're not an action taker and multiple people looking at a deal? You broke. That's what happened. You never end up with a business because you constantly keep passing over opportunities repeatedly, which is what poor people do. Yes or yes? So you can't put yourself in that situation if you want to be successful, right? And then I know some of you out there and you like, I've been struggling with perfectionism, and I know I'm one of them, right? I'm a recovering perfectionist and I get it. But can I be honest with y'all? A perfectionist is just really a sexy procrastinator. Is that too tough? And by the way, I know some of y'all are like over analytical and we applaud those things in society and call it intelligent. But being over analytical is really just an intelligent form of being indecisive. But I'm just saying, if I don't tell you these things, then everything I'm about to tell you after I tell you this, it don't matter. So we gotta be action takers. Type take action in the chat. Put take action in the chat. We gotta be action takers. So, I put a couple of things in here just to show y'all who I am. I know many of you have never met me, seen me. I've been a couple different places. Dream Nation, Yahoo, Success Magazine, Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, Digital Social Hour with Sean Michael Kelly. But, while those things may be important to you, this is the thing that's important to me. I've been with my wife for, now 18 years. At this time, it was 16. That show you how long ago it was. And what I can tell you is that without commitment, you'll have nothing in life. And if marriage has taught me anything, it's taught me about commitment. And whether you're married or not, don't matter. If you're not committed to this thing called business in the way in which you will be committed to that thing called marriage, it ain't gonna work. If you want to win, right? And thank God for my wife, because I wouldn't be in this situation without her. I promise you that. And as I tell more of my story, you're gonna know that to be true. Okay. Now, I wanted to show you one of my projects. It's a 40-unit apartment building. We bought it vacant. We put close to $1 million into it. This is an older picture of it, but the left side is already cash flowing. We got tenants in it. The right side, we finishing up about another $300,000-$400,000 in renovations. And at the conclusion of the renovation, this property is going to be producing about $400,000 a year. Okay. That ain't even the best part though. Okay. Let me ask you a question. How much of my own money do you think I put into this deal? Let me know in the chat. Okay, so let me give y'all some numbers too, by the way. So we bought this for $965, just shy of $1 million. We put $1 million into it, and it's worth about 2.8. Okay. So yes, the first couple of y'all were correct. I didn't put any money in the deal, but it wasn't because I just woke up today and decided not to, though. Let's be clear. Does anybody else go around buying $1 million projects and not put money in the deal? Okay, so what's the difference? The difference is that I've acquired some things called skill along the way and positioned myself as an expert that has now afforded me the ability to where people actually see me as a bank for them, that I can take their money and produce a much higher interest rate than a traditional bank could, and then give them back a return over time. Who else wants to become that person? Put me in the chat if that's you. So here's what I want you to know. I promise y'all, this is not about me. This is what I want you to realize. This is just 40 units of the 120 that I own. By the way, 800 miles away, I live in Paradise in Orlando. So let me ask you a question. What do you do every day that does not produce $400,000 a year? Now, I'm going somewhere with this, y'all. I promise you, I'm not poking at you. I want you to have an unlock right now. What I'm trying to illustrate to you is that if you want to build wealth, you got to stop trading time for money. People that go to work every day make $100,000 a year. That's equivalent to $48 an hour, y'all. $100,000 a year is equivalent to $48 an hour. Me and my wife go to BurgerFi, it's $48. It's not a lot. Like you trading an hour of your life for BurgerFi. And again, I was there. I was in corporate doing the same thing. I'm not tripping. What I'm trying to tell you though, is that if you want to get wealthy, you got to get to a place where you can think higher, work higher, and have your money work harder than you. And even better, other people's money. Because I like to think if you knew a different way to go out and accumulate wealth, albeit 800 miles away and with no money into a deal, that you would rather do that than go to work every single day and still not even achieve that outcome. Is that true for you? Just let me know in the chat if that's true for you. Okay, well, I'm gonna show you the way. Now, before I move on, does anybody, what were the takeaways from that soliloquy that I just did right there? Remember what David taught everybody. The purpose of a webinar is to kill limiting beliefs, kill objections, and help people see themselves differently, right? So I gave them a picture of social proof for me, but possibility for them. And then I had them reshape the way in which they think they have to make money. Everybody wake up every day and look for a harder way to make some money. And I'm showing them if you can just become more and work higher instead of harder, you can position yourself to make more money than you ever do when you go to work every day for it. So I'm reaffirming to them what's possible because it ain't about me. It's about them. Remember, I told y'all that the challenge. Your webinar is not about you. It's about them. So I use me as a character in the story, but I'm making them the hero of their own. I'm gonna say that again. I use me as the character in the story, but I'm making them the hero of their own story. Did y'all notice how I talk? It was never about me being braggadocious. I was being matter of fact, but it was never about me. It was always about them. Right? So as you going through, every story should be a pre-frame to a new outcome you want to get them. Okay? This the next one. So I gotta tell y'all, of all the things that I love doing, it's nothing I love doing more than spending time with my students. Okay. And this is a special event called A Day with BA. We do it once every quarter-ish for about 4 to 5 people that win an opportunity to come hang out with me for a day. And it's crazy. We take them out in the field. I show them all my stuff, and we even show them opportunities that they can bid on. And I show them like my creative process when I'm out in the field. And so some of y'all that get to hear about that at a later date, but it's just something I really enjoy doing because multiplication is a big thing for me. And at some point, real estate just become transactions. I'm much more inclined to invest in others and watch them multiply for themselves. What do y'all think is happening right there when I'm telling that story? By the way, who was the story about? It was about them again, right? Now, here's the thing, y'all. It wasn't always like this, okay? As you can see, my wife's smiling, but your boy was pressed, okay? Made a lot of mistakes growing up. I don't consider this one anymore, but at that time, it certainly felt like it. I got my now wife, then girlfriend, pregnant when I was 18. I was looking at a 4 to 10 year felony when I was 17 years old, mixed up in the streets. I grew up on the west side of Detroit. My parents did a phenomenal job, right? I would never put any of this on them. They were blue collar. My dad was a firefighter for the city of Detroit for 30 years. My mom was a cashier at a grocery store for 25 years. So work ethic was always in me, but I just knew it was something else in me that I needed to get out. Unfortunately, you tune into what you turn into, and you turn into what you tune into. And in my proximity, the people who was entrepreneurs in the streets. And so I emulated that lifestyle and found myself my senior year in high school looking at a 4 to 10 year felony, hustling, was mixed up. As I mentioned, got my now wife, then girlfriend pregnant at 18, kicked out the house. I had a full ride academic scholarship to college, went up there, distracted, right? I was still fighting my case for 9 months and flunked out, got a 0.0 my first semester. And so that time in my life was dark, to be honest, right? It was tumultuous. And by God's grace, I found myself back in the church for the first time in a long time. And that's where I found Christ. I can't fully articulate exactly what that did to me, but I could tell you that things started changing in my life. I got on the other side of that case, fully expunged from my record. I ended up not doing any prison time. Got rematriculated back into college where I graduated cum laude. I've been with my now wife for, as I mentioned, 18 years. Our daughter is 23, married. We got our first grand on the way, which is crazy. So by God's grace, everything worked out. And I know a lot of you probably can't resonate with all the details of my story. It's kind of wild, right? But here's what everybody can resonate with. Has anybody ever done anything that they're not proud of? Let me know in the chat. Has anybody done anything they're not proud of? Has anybody ever been hurt by anybody? Has anybody ever had trauma? Has anybody ever maybe gone through a divorce? Has anybody ever dealt with shame? Here's what I want to tell you. God has given us grace. We need to give ourselves some. In scripture, Paul tells us that we are supposed to forget those things which are behind and press forward. A lot of y'all still in bondage to stuff that happened to y'all 20 years ago. You ain't gonna never get to where you're going as long as that's holding you back. Put press forward in the chat for everybody that's pressing forward. Put press forward, because we can't go nowhere till we do that. What did you guys notice about when I told that story, my zero story? So all this time it's been hero, and then I told my zero story. What did you notice differently about when I told my zero story? So that's great observations, right? A couple people in the chat said that my tone changed. I slowed down my tone. That's important. That's important, right? Because if you having a conversation, would you just blab past that part if you was on the phone with somebody? It's the same thing. So certain parts of the conversation needs to lend itself different ways to communicate. Conversational, right? The other part is 100%. Candace said, help to identify with the principles of your story. 100%. And then this is the other part. You never want people to feel like you just blowing by your zero part. That's an important part of your story. So you want to lean in when you get to that part. It don't mean you need to over communicate, but you need to lean in and sit in it with them. Let them feel when you were back in that moment in time as you're conveying it to them. Okay. The thing to always remember about these presentations are the posture isn't I'm just like you. The posture is you just like me. If I'm just like you, I'm coming to where you are. If you just like me, I'm bringing you to where I am. So that's why you start out with the hero story. One, to establish the social proof and why they should listen to you. Sometimes, see, if you've made the mistake of telling your zero story first, you're likely to lose people. If I'd have told the 7 to 10 year felony, the 4 to 10 year felony, 17, baby, all that, it's going to be probably 10 people in the room that don't identify with that, or they out of there because I didn't establish why they should listen to me first. That's why starting off with your life story is a bad idea, because if you haven't captivated the audience, see, the $400,000, the $400,000 in a year on apartments, I've given them so much social proof to where they'll tolerate me even if they don't like me. And that's okay. They ain't got to like me. Is this making sense? Like this is very important what I'm explaining to y'all. Absolutely. Right? They'll tolerate the rest of the stuff because they see the value in who I am today, because I've established who I am today. Do this slide say anything about what I was just talking about? It forces you to listen to me instead of read my slides. So I'm pre-framing part of the room who thinks I'm gonna go do this on my own with my 20, 30,000, letting them know inadvertently how much they don't know. Because the whole goal of this whole thing is to eliminate as many roadblocks as possible so that when I get down to the offer, I've already cleared the pathway. It's not their fault that I didn't prepare them to be ready to buy. For most of these people, they've never had proximity to sit down with an expert that can help change their life. Because you can fake your words, but you can't fake your energy.